Everybody, for the afternoon recap. I'm Hogue. Thanks for joining me. We're going to keep this brief. We got a very special session coming up here, Trading Edge with Agnieszka, and we're looking very forward to that. So, all right, look at the NASDAQ. Yeah, this is a 3-minute chart. Let's look more like a 5-minute chart. We'll get more information on that. Internet IB high, tried to hold above it, failure. All the way back to the IB low. That's typical of what happens when you have a failed upside auction. I wouldn't really call this a failed upside auction. This was just the market ran out of buyers. Sellers took over through the IB low. When we open that next 30-minute bar below that, we should probably be looking for shorts. Shorts have been holding. It hasn't been very gratuitous, let's say, to the downside. But we're still holding shorts. The house account had a couple of shorts on. They salad hands or paper hands out of those. Hopefully Caesar's still short this one. I think there's probably still some space to the downside, perhaps all the way back down to 21,650. Excuse me. 21,650, the weekly kickoff high, and that naked point of control that still remains unchecked. S&Ps. Very similar situation. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Opening range was the dead low of the day. Unable to hold above the initial balance high, the market began to rotate back through the range, took out the IB low. Once we get a 30-minute bar that opens below the IB low, that becomes resistance. We should be looking for continuation moves to the downside. We traded down to the weekly kickoff high already in the S&Ps, 6,017. We're currently taking that out. We've also got a naked point of control right there that we just went and took out. And we were talking about naked points of control quite a bit during lunchbox trading. We're seeing some opportunities there now. Take a look at crude oil. This is the 30-minute chart. Here is the open. The opening range was left at the low of the day. The market pushed higher. Got pretty close to weekly kickoff high, 75.10. Where did we get to? We got to 74.99 within 11 ticks of weekly kickoff high. Initial balance high was put in. A failed upside auction above the initial balance high took us through the initial balance low. Acceptance below that. Where did the market target? It targeted a naked point of control. The naked point of control from back here on Thursday. I stretch it all the way across. Where did the market target? Naked point of control, comfort level, an area where a lot of trades occurred. Market came back to that level to see if there's any business left to do there. For all intents and purposes, this market is closed, but you never know when there's opportunities in gold. Same situation. Market opened, leaving the opening range at the dead high of the day, had a poor low on Friday, indicating that the downside auction was probably not over. We had lots of weaknesses in structure down below. We had a gap. We had a naked point of control. We had another naked point of control. All of those were targeted on this move to the downside, putting in the IB low, and then just falling into range-bound activity. Great stuff. Good day in the house account. We're up a little bit, so that's always good. Really special situation we got going. Good trading edge with Agnieszka Wood. Really looking forward to hearing what she has to say. She is a mindset coach, mindset trading coach, training mindset coach, and she's here to help us make a plan and get our edge in place for 2025. Looking forward to being there and watching this. I will be here with all of you. Enjoy this session. Get a lot out of it. Pay attention. It's going to be some really good stuff. This is TopstepTV. Let's go.
Yes, yes, yes. We are very, very excited for this. Typically, it would be Power Hour, but no, not today. Today is Trading Edge with Agnieszka Wood, joining us from Naples and CEO of headcoach.com. We're very, very excited for this. She's got a lot in store. She's a mindset coach as well as a trade plan preparer. So, without further ado, Agnieszka, welcome to Top Step TV. What do you have in store for us today?
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Andre. I'm so excited to be here and share not just my knowledge, but my experience and just, to talk to traders as my passion to help traders to get on the path to consistency. So I'm very excited for you for me to have the opportunity to be here. So thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to start off. She's got a little presentation for us. And then after that, we'll do a little bit of Q&A. You see pinned to the top of the chat, got the form to submit your questions, and we will go from there. So without further ado, Agnieszka, take it away.
All right. That's awesome. So today I would like to talk to you guys about trading edge. I know that a lot of times there is we talk about, do you have an edge in trading? And I know when I started trading, I really had no idea what it even meant. So we can actually share the slides because I want to talk to you a little bit about myself. So Andre, if we could share the slides. Fantastic. Yep. Thank you. So just to give you a little bit of background, yes, I am a trading mindset coach. I'm also the CEO of a Head Coach, the online platform that is basically meant to help traders to reach consistent profit. That's where I teach my programs. That's where I coach traders from. But for all, I'm a trader. So I started trading in 2010 without really any preparation or a special background. I studied marketing and management. I studied linguistics. So I was definitely not on the spectrum of numbers, financing, and economy. In fact, economy was absolutely not my interest. So when I started trading in 2010, I kind of rolled into it, introduced by my present husband. And, he was trading and I was curious. Basically, that's how it started. And the first years, I lost a lot of money just trying things out. And finally, I started seriously trading in 2014. And when I say seriously, I thought I got serious, and how it showed in practice was that I followed a course to learn technical analysis. And after 3 months of paper trading, I went live. And to make things even more serious for myself and call myself trader for a living, I quit my well-paid job and put myself under financial pressure. Of course, I had some savings, but as you can imagine, there was definitely some pressure to make money there. And the first 2 weeks went fantastic. I made $10,000 in 2 weeks, just, right off the bat, which made me absolutely ecstatic. And unfortunately, I got into a short squeeze, and in the next few days, I lost the whole 10,000 and pretty much all my confidence in myself, in taking trades. I would jump in, jump out, and then chase, and trying all kinds of different ways to make my losses back. To make a very long story short, and it was quite a long story because I was stuck in that cycle of fear and greed and hope and frustration for 2 years until my body said, that's it. I got pretty good wake-up call from my body, sort of a life-threatening situation where I woke up thanks to that, because it was caused all by stress. And the only stress source that I had at the time was my trading. So I knew that I had to change something because being in that situation wasn't good for anyone and definitely not good for me. So forwarding the story a little bit faster, I had to go through a total transformation. And when I say transformation, I really had to dig deep and see what is standing me in my way to consistency. Why am I pushing so hard? Why am I fighting the market? Because I was constantly fighting the market. And if any of you have that situation right now, you might be recognizing the stress and the frustration, but also that feeling of, if I only can stop losing, I'll be there, right? If I only can do this, then this whole beautiful life is going to unfold in front of me. And that's what keeps you in the cycle. So that hope, that feeling of I'm almost there. You are sort of on the edge, but that's the wrong edge. This is not the edge you should be on, because it's a false hope, and it causes you to repeat the same sabotaging behaviors over and over again. And when I say sabotaging, is pretty much the habits that make you lose money, that help you to go back after the loss, that commitment and perseverance. You go back and you think, okay, if I just try it again harder, now it's going to work. And as you have probably already discovered, it doesn't. Because when you do something that doesn't work, no matter how many times you are going to repeat it, it's not going to work. And it didn't in my case either. So I really had to dig deeper, and the sort of journey of self-discovery, I call it. And it took me a while. It took me probably a year to do that, and then another year or so to start building my account back up and making my trading a reliable source of income. That's where I got my experience, and that's what I took and put together, all those steps that I took into the programs that I now teach to traders, and help them to get out of the cycle that I was stuck myself on the path to consistency. It's just the difference is that it took me a while, and I had a background of neuro-linguistic programming and being a life coach, so I had a lot of background that I could use to do that, and it took me about a year. But now, because I know exactly what to do and how to do it, I help traders to do that in 12. So as a trader, I'm still trading every day. I day trade and I swing trade. It depends also a little bit on my workload from other areas, which is a head coach, but also on my passions and the projects that I am implementing. And I manage my own retirement accounts. And just last year, the 2024, because of course I did just the evaluation, I closed the accounts with 62% growth and 70 to 30% win ratio. And my profit factor varies. It varies a little bit between the day trading account and the swing trading. It's somewhere between 6 and 9. So if you are not familiar with profit factor, it basically tells you how much money more you make than you lose. So yeah, let's talk about why consistency feels so hard. Why is it so difficult? why is it so difficult to actually do something that you know you should be doing and just do it over and over again? It's very easy for dogs to come back every day and eat the same meal, because they don't have this extra part in our brain that remembers what they have eaten yesterday. So we can feed them the same thing every day and they will be perfectly happy. But we have that memory, and we remember all the things that have happened in the past, very long time ago, but also yesterday and also 5 minutes ago. So the trade that you took and you lost is influencing your next decisions, and it's triggering a lot of things. So consistency, to repeat something over and over again, there's just so many different factors coming into it that you are weighing in your head while you're making your decisions, that it makes it very difficult to just do what you know you should be doing. Simply repeat the same thing over and over again. And the market is triggering what I call a squirrel syndrome. If you're familiar with the squirrel syndrome, oh, squirrel, oh, another squirrel.
Yes.
You're getting completely distracted, right?
Yes.
And that's how the market is constructed, right? You have all these different tickers on your screens, and some traders have, 12 different screens they look at. Then there is this news feed and social media and all these things that come at you. And now try to focus. And maybe you think you can do it, but your brain might think completely different about this. So what I really love, what you guys at TopStep are doing, is you are actually creating the environment for traders that keeps them more disciplined. You are forcing those rules on them, because without the rules, people have really trouble to stick to something, to stick to what they should do. And there is this paradox, because when you are a trader, you come into trading because you want to be free. And just look around. You have the freedom. It's just you and your computer. You open your account and you can do whatever you want. And what do? You just keep making decisions that hurt you. So most people are really not ready for that type of freedom, because it takes a lot of discipline and it takes responsibility. So you guys are helping people to take this responsibility. So that's what I really love about that. Because the moment that you are taking the responsibility and acting in your best interest, which means a lot of times taking a loss when you need to, now you can handle your freedom. Now there is no problem. You see what I mean? So having too much freedom without taking responsibility, that's anarchy. And that's where things get out of control. And that's where you start blowing up your account. So most traders, unfortunately, do not acknowledge that, because, it's not so easy to say, I am not a responsible person, right? It requires you to really look deep and say, yeah, I said I'm going to do A, but I did B. And then I did it again and again and again. So that takes some courage to actually look at yourself and admit that maybe, just maybe, there is a little bit of that lack of integrity, right? So, and let's be fair, when you step into learning how to trade, there is really not so much promotion or material that tells you, okay, these are the mental skills that you need to establish, you need to master, that will help you with consistency in your trading. A lot of focus is still on strategies. And just to give you a little bit of context, only 3% of day traders make consistent profits.
Mm.
And most of them cannot even make the minimum wage with day trading. And that shows you that without having an edge in trading, it is nearly impossible to realize your goals and your dreams. And over 80% of traders quit within the first 2 years. And I cannot blame them, because if you are constantly on that roller coaster, suddenly the perspective of working for a boss and coming home and have I don't have to think about work now, and I know I get a paycheck, suddenly seems very attractive.
No, it does not.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and these are not just a number. This is really a reflection of how difficult it is to succeed without having a solid edge. And the scary part is that most traders don't really even realize that they are missing it. So this, I love this quote from Aristotle. We are what we are repeatedly do. And excellence is not an act, but a habit. It's really that simple. Consistency is built through repeated actions and habits. And unfortunately, traders often struggle to establish those. Does this sound familiar to anyone? I don't know if you have. Do you have a chat there? Does it sound
100%.
familiar to anyone what I'm saying, or is everyone like, I have no idea what she's talking?
No. I'll say this. I think we said that within 2 years, 80% of traders quit. I guess my question for you, if you don't mind, why do you think that is? Is it simply just because they're not, no profits? I guess would be the easy answer. Is it just they get defeated, they get down? Obviously, 2 years, you're not making money. How do you narrow, if you don't mind me, how do you narrow that learning curve? How do you take that from, you know, they start getting traction, start, finding confidence? I think you mentioned confidence is it a little bit, and maybe habits. Hear this quote: "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence then is not an act,
Right.
but a habit. Is it because of poor habits? Is that the reason why they're quitting within 2 years? I'd like to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it is because of poor preparation and unrealistic expectations. So you have to imagine, like, if you want to become a pilot, it's not enough to learn how to fly, because if you, for example, if you have a fear of flying, you will not
Hmm.
ever become a successful pilot, right?
Right.
You will probably crash the first real flight.
Not good.
So not good. Um, I also like to compare that to, if you would like to fly to a moon, right? We have astronauts. It's a very high performance and very
Mhm.
lucrative and very different job than anything else. Trading is a little bit like that.
Mhm.
But most traders think that it is very easy. And that, you cannot blame anyone, because if you look in social media, that's how it's being portrayed, right? That's how I stepped into it. Oh, it's easy. You
Yes.
buy low, sell high. I'll be fine.
Mhm.
But that mental side of it is completely forgotten. So it is not enough to have a rocket ship to shoot you to the moon. You have to have also proper equipment, right? So, okay, you have your platform, you have your charts and everything. But now those people have to like practice, their health has to be on point, and they
Mhm.
have to practice all the forces that are going to come at them. They have to know how to move in an environment where there is no gravity. In trading, this part is completely forgotten. How do you operate in an
Mhm.
environment that is completely unpredictable, absolutely uncertain? Like,
Mhm.
anything can happen at any moment, and you have no control over it. Most people are not used to ex- exist in this kind of environment and forget performing. And what happens is, like, when all these things are, all these triggers, so the market is triggering you, and it triggers emotional and triggers mental triggers basically on the inside of you as a person and your nervous system.
Mhm.
You're just reacting. You're just being reactive, and that's where the survival instincts kick in, where your fight, flight, or freeze response kick in. Maybe you recognize, you see your trade going down, you see your account being drained, and you're just sitting there and you cannot move. And later on, it's like, why didn't I just get out of this thing? Because you are dealing here with forces that you are not able to handle and you have never learned to handle. So this is a matter of skill, I think, and preparation.
Okay, so to that point, what are the forces that you were talking about that you are not prepared? Like forces in terms of what? Fear, greed, anxiety, panic. What are the forces?
Yes, so the forces, so yes, emotional triggers. So
Sure.
definitely those emotional responses that trigger physical but also mental processes inside of you.
Mhm.
So yes, panic, fear, and greed, this is all physical and triggers your nervous system. But there are also mental triggers
Mm.
that are going on in your head. So, like, for example, your internal dialogue.
Mm.
And you come into trading with that baggage, with those memories.
Of course, yes.
And every time when something happens, it's being connected by your brain to something that already happened by association. So when you are making a trade, if you didn't know how to disconnect from your previous losses, now you are just trying not to lose.
It's true.
And unfortunately, what happens in how we operate is we get what we focus on. You get where you put what you put your attention on. So if you trade not to lose, guess what you get? You lose more. But it is not easy to disconnect from that fear if you don't know how. If you don't know how to regulate those emotions, if you don't know how to focus, how to basically use your mental skills to do that. And it's a matter of practicing those skills that you, like you go into the gym,
Right.
the more just like focus skill, right?
Absolutely. Like I guess to this quote, excellence that is not an act but a habit. Is exactly what you're saying. So please continue on.
Yes,
But yeah, I just got a couple
exactly.
questions to clarify. This is great. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
that's very good. Very good. So, that's where those common struggles are coming. You constantly second guessing yourself, and this is what you were talking about confidence. Confidence is not something that just comes from nowhere. Confidence is based on your behavior. So, if you keep breaking your rules, after a while, you cannot trust yourself. So, down, you might be thinking, oh, yeah, I want to be confident. But the truth is, you don't even trust yourself anymore, right?
Yes.
If you don't like it's very easy to give an example, like if your friend is making an appointment with you and cancels every time, the next
Hmm.
time he wants to make an appointment, you're like, yeah, I don't even trust it. I'm like, I don't have confidence that this is going to be something, right? So
Right.
that's what happens with yourself as well. The confidence is not out of nowhere. It's slowly broken down. So, when you start on the wrong foot and you start building those bad trading habits, no wonder that after a while you don't have that confidence because you have shown yourself you're
Hmm.
just not to be trusted. And then, you jump from strategy to strategy and you hope that this will be the solution. A lot of times traders feel like the market is there to get me, right? It's like, and this is not working and that is not working and they know where my stops are and all
Oh
this
yeah.
kind of thing. So you always, right? There's this
Yes.
conspiracy theory, like they know what you're exactly going to do. And you know what? It even doesn't matter. Maybe they do, but that doesn't matter because if you have a plan and you follow it and you have a sound plan with strategy that gives you a certain positive expectancy, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. You cannot base your own success on what everyone else is doing. But that's what most traders are unfortunately doing.
Agree. Common
So,
struggles. Yes. Emotional toll, strategy hopping. Yes. All the time, strategy hopping. Because well, here's the question: if you have to adapt and change your strategies, correct? Common struggles. If this strategy isn't working, how this plan isn't working, we're always looking to evolve and always looking to improve it, correct? We're not, it's not a
right.
static situation. We have to evolve and be dynamic. So I guess the question is, how do you know at what point? I mean, is it just black and white? You just look at your P&L and say, hey, I'm down $5,000 using this strategy. It's time to change it or tweak it or completely overhaul it. I guess would be my question.
Yeah.
How do you know how much to change or adjust your plan or strategy?
That is excellent question because this is exactly where the problem is. Most traders are changing strategy after a week of strategy not working. So you have to see if that strategy, first of all, has a positive expectancy. Is it working for someone else? Was it working for you in other market conditions and now conditions have changed and now the strategy is not working?
Mm,
Or is it that you are doing something and that's why the strategy is not working? And that requires you to actually look and analyze your trades, to
mhm.
analyze the situation and also over a little bit longer period and not just, I tried this new strategy a week, it's not working, new one. Because
Right.
that keeps you at the same point all the time. You have to understand that in order, like the word consistency is over a longer period of time. You cannot measure consistency over a short time. That just doesn't exist. So most traders give up too soon and make the conclusion my strategy is not working because it's easier. Because it's easier and it gives hope. Maybe the new one will work. And this guy is making money with this strategy, so let me try. And then the second part is the strategy alignment. It's like, is the strategy aligned with you as a person? Or are
Yes.
you trying to swing trade or trade, I don't know, on a 1 hour chart
Mhm.
and you are just being bored and just start trading out of boredom because this is not the person you are. I mean, I can tell you if I put my 1 hour chart, I feel like I'm watching paint dry or a
Same.
tree grow,
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
And I'm
Yep.
like,
Guilty.
what am I doing here?
Mhm.
And I get frustrated. And that's the worst thing that you can have, frustrated in front of the chart, right?
Right.
So I'll talk also a little bit more about that.
Okay, please.
So So the biggest misconceptions are that, you know, that having an edge is actually having a foolproof strategy. But there is no strategy that works 100% of the time. That's the thing. And it doesn't have to. That's the beauty of it. In trading, you can make so many mistakes and still be successful. But a lot of traders are perfectionists, right? Because we are ambitious people, we are high achievers, and we want everything to work like in the clock. Swiss watch, right? And that, unfortunately, you got to let that go when you want to be successful in trading, because it's unpredictable and you have to move on. It's like moving with the flow of the market. It's not just, a cliche thing, just, yeah, go with the flow. No, you really have to do that, because the moment the price moves and you get stuck on an idea that you had 2 hours ago, you are out of sync. The market has moved and you're still stuck in the past, stamping your feet like, yeah, but I want this to work. So now you're not in the flow. And then some other people, think that there is a shortcut to copy someone else's system. But then again, you might not necessarily be aligned with that system. Correct. And not execute it consistently. So it's really worthless, no matter how great it's working for the other person. So think about it. Imagine a professional athlete. They can have the best training plan in the world, right? But if they don't stay focused on it, if they don't stick to their routine or manage their emotions under pressure when they actually have to perform, they're not going to succeed, right? And that's the same in trading. It's no different. It is not about the tools. It's about the trader who is using them. And that's the missing link that a lot of traders, they put their focus in front of them instead of back on them. And I like to say, just try to see that screen that you are looking at every day as a mirror.
It's a mirror.
Everything what's happened. Yes.
Yes, it is 100%. It is a mirror. And yes, please go on. Yeah, this is fascinating.
Yeah, it's a reflection of yourself. So all the mistakes that you are doing and the results that you are getting is a reflection of your actions. And if you are not seeing that, and you might not know what to look at, and that's where you need to learn those skills. But if you're ignoring that this is the case, then you are just keep fighting yourself. You think you're fighting the market, but you are actually fighting yourself.
I agree, 100%. Yes, the tools only get you so far. And by tools, you mean indicators, all
strategy,
your
even
strategy, news sources, all that. When at the end of the day, it is about the trader. Did you get enough sleep? Did you prepare? Are you did you preparation for the week? Are you mentally in a good spot? Are you on tilt? We have some questions about that after this, but yeah, please. This is
okay. Sure, really good. Sure. Okay, so just because your strategy is only really as strong as your ability to execute it, like you said, and if fear and greed or hesitation takes over, then you will simply deviate from your plan. And then suddenly your best miracle strategy, this is not going to save you. Even with a great strategy, it only will work if you follow it. We said that this is the basic thing. And if you really reflect on it, you will see how much true it's in there. And then probably what many traders then do is, after a webinar like this or after a presentation like this, they just go back and keep doing what they're doing. So I really hope, guys, that you don't do that, because this is such an important thing that really makes so much difference, and it really helps you to get that edge in trading. So you need that strategy. I mean, you need a strategy that has positive expectancy. Let's settle that. So that means that over a series of trades, over a period of time, your strategy statistically is likely to be profitable. It's not about winning every trade, but the average win has to be greater than your average losses over time. So, and then secondly, you need that consistent execution. Because if you cannot, it's like having a high performance car, but then not knowing how to drive it. You have this amazing potential in your hand, and you know it because it's like, oh my God, and this guy made so much money with this, and look, For a week, I was able to make it, and now I lost everything. So you have this potential, but then you don't have the skill and the focus to handle it. And that's why you're getting nowhere. And that's what gives you that trading edge. This is those elements together in balance, working together. That's what gives you the trading edge. And like we talked about, so this is where most traders look for their edge. Is they focus either only on strategy or they look for a holy grail. Anyone?
Mhm.
I know I was looking for a
Yes,
holy
of
grail for a
course,
long time.
always. And Jessica, I'm still looking for the Holy Grail. Real quick question: does the Holy Grail exist? Does it actually
No,
exist?
it doesn't.
Thank
Not
you.
yet,
I
it
know.
does, but not outside of you.
Well, why do I keep looking for it if I know it doesn't exist, but I still keep looking for it? What is what? Yeah, I still keep looking for, it, but I know it doesn't exist.
Yes. So the question is, what is it that you are actually looking for?
Haha,
You're
great
looking for a
question.
solution, right?
Yes, 100%.
So yes. So the solution to what problem are you looking for?
Ooh, wow, that's a deep question. The solution problem I'm looking for, I guess, profitability, validation, fear, to not be scared, to be able to look at
Yeah.
myself in the mirror and say, hey, you know what you're doing. You can keep up with the competition. Yeah, like I said, self validation as well.
Yeah. So do you see that, like, if you really take that as like, okay, so these are my problems, it's like, how can trading strategy solve these problems?
That's
That
a hell of a point. I
you know what
mean,
I mean?
correct.
It's like you're sick, but you're going to, to a tennis court for
Right.
look for a solution. It's like
There's no equivalent. Yeah,
that doesn't work.
it's false equivalency, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Remember that to get a good answer, you have to ask the right question. And that's why, because the question about like what is really going on is not asking the right way, traders go and try to change strategy. But the strategy is not the problem, it's the other element that's missing. And those elements, dealing with your fear, dealing with self-validation, that those are all internal problems. Market has nothing to do with that. What market does greatly, and I am personally very thankful for it because it changed my life as a trader, but also as a person, is the market helps you to find those answers because it triggers you every time. And it's uncomfortable, but that's
It
when
is.
the biggest growth happens. When we feel uncomfortable, just like when you go to a new place, you travel somewhere and you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
That's where that growth happens, right? And that's how your growth will happen when you dare to say, you know what? Okay, so I am fearful. What am I scared of? And then you start looking deeper and actually start solving those issues, because a lot of times those are connected to our past. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying 40 years ago. Yes, sometimes it's the case, but sometimes it's, to things, even that to our expectations, to our unrealistic expectations. There are
Mhm.
several truths that we are using to live our lives, our beliefs,
Sure.
that are simply not translatable to the market. But if you don't know better, you take them and you bring to the market and you expect it to work. The market is so different. Just like working hard. This is the best example because I know everyone can relate to that.
Okay.
Something is not working, more charting, more trading, more YouTube videos. That's not the problem. The knowledge is not the problem. That's not what the problem is. So you have to solve the real problem in order to get the symptoms out of the way. And a lot of people, unfortunately, just touch up the symptoms. And it helps for a while because when you get new strategies, like an Advil pill, now it's the new shiny object. Oh, this
Squirrel.
strategy is going to work. Squirrel.
Squirrel. Yes.
And you feel like you're making progress because, oh, you know what? Now I have a new strategy. Now I have to set up all my charts all over and all this indicate. So you feel like you're making progress. You get enthusiastic. But a week later, you are exactly at the same point where you were, if not further away, because you're just starting building the house over, you know? So,
Interesting. Yes, it's deeper. It's deeper than just profits and losses. It's much deeper than profits and losses. It's much
oh
deeper
my gosh.
self
Yeah.
validation. Like the market. Yes, the market. it triggers things that come from within as opposed to anything else. The strategy could be profitable, positive expectancy. And
Right.
like you said in the previous slide, the execution could be the bottleneck or the point of failure. So yeah, like you said, it's
Yeah.
one big mirror. It's one big mirror, and Jessica. So yeah, please go on.
Yeah.
Illuminating to say the least.
It's awesome. So yeah, really the key to developing your edge in trading is the balance between your strategy, making sure you are aligned with your strategy, execution, and your mindset. So this is like in a very simplistic way said, this is a holistic approach, so to say. It's not one or the other. And the funny thing is that a lot of times people think it's that way, that it's one or the other. I mean, this is the way that I've learned, technical analysis. I had no idea, even though as a coach, that you need any psychology in trading. And I think my thinking is also that that's also the reason why a lot of people get into trading, because now they don't have to deal with all that shit. It's just numbers, it's the screen. And, now I can be just on my own and nobody's going to bother me. I have no boss telling me what to do. But guess what? You sit there and now you are confronted very strongly with yourself.
Yes, you are. It's only you. It's you and the screen. Yes, it's only you and
Yeah,
the screen. So what do you do? Yes, I've got the
exactly.
freedom. I don't have a boss. I can make $1 bazillion. But that's the moment of
Yeah,
truth when it's just you in the market. Now
yeah,
this is
yeah.
when shit gets real. So now what do we do?
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, it is really to just realize that you cannot go around it. That maybe actually in other jobs you can go around it because you at least have other people to blame. But here you have no one to blame but yourself. You can try the market. Market, it doesn't care if you blame the market, right?
No, it does not.
So yeah, this is really, where do you start is assess your strategy first. Does it have positive expectancy? And is it aligned with who you are, with you as a person, with your personality, with your risk tolerance? Are you aligned with it? And then build emotional resilience. So dealing with emotions, I don't even say managing it, but regulating it. I sometimes say managing just for people to kind of relate more to it, but you're not managing anything. You're just regulating your emotions, because what you are actually doing is you're regulating your nervous system, the physical body, because that's
Wow.
where the emotional response comes. You feel that physically and you got to regulate it. And there are tools for it, there are ways to do that, and you just simply have to learn it. Point. There is really nothing abracadabra about this. And you have to master your execution. So you have to prepare and stick to your plan. And there are also mental skills to do that. And of course, you have to have a plan.
Yes, you do. Of course. Of course.
So
Yes.
with that, once you have that, you can really start making steps forward and finally break from that cycle, which brings you so much frustration. And I know, as anyone else, who has been stuck in there, how badly it can get. It's just
Yes, it
like,
can.
no, it's not just your money. It affects your whole life, your
Does.
relationships, the way you sit at the dinner table, like
Correct.
sleepless nights and
Correct.
wondering, oh my God, what's going to be tomorrow?
Yes.
And
Antisocial. I'm antisocial. I get short.
yeah,
I get stabbed. And you know what? And the problem is, unfortunately, we take it out on those that are closest to us, which our
yeah,
support system. Those are the ones that are least to blame,
yeah,
and we internalize it. And then I don't know if the words reflect or deflect or project, perhaps is the word.
project.
How
Very good. Yes.
how yes. And then so that it kind of goes full circle. We project onto others, and then they're not happy with us, and then I can feel that and I sense it, and then it bleeds into the trading, and it's just a
Yeah.
never ending cycle. So I guess
Right.
how do I break that cycle? How do we break a cycle like that where I guess
Yeah.
stop beating yourself up maybe a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm the one clicking the buttons. And yes, I'm the one clicking the buttons. I'm the one executing. So there's no one else really to blame but myself, or
Yes.
the trader themselves.
Yes. And that doesn't help. So I actually, on Wednesday, I will be doing a free webinar where I will go into depth, and I have a QR code here, guys. So
Oh, great.
this is about trading edge, and I will go through the steps how to build the trading edge. So this will give you an idea like where to start. Where do I even start? What do I need to do? How do I begin? Because it's not an overnight thing. Oh,
Mhm.
and now everything is going to be great. Like I just stopped because you probably have
Yes.
tried it
Snap
already.
the fingers. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Um, Building new habits takes time, but the change, the insights, and the transformation, like changing your mindset, that can happen really fast because we are changing our mindset. It's like I like to say mindset is like setting of your mind. We are set on certain things, how we think. And the
Mhm.
moment that you get new insights, you change your perspective. Now you are changing your mindset, how you perceive things, how you see things, and how you basically reflect them on yourself. This is
Mhm.
all a change of perspective, and those shifts can happen really very fast. And once you do that, then you start building new habits that support that new mindset, which
Amazing.
that takes a little bit of time. But there are really simple steps that you can follow. And those are the steps that I recommend. These are the steps that I have been teaching since almost 6 years to traders, and they are stepping from the losing cycle to consistent profitability and building consistency, moving on, and yeah, really great results, and not just in their trading, but really big changes in their life. I like to say, you think you are doing the trading, but if you're really doing well, you're becoming a trader because trading makes you a better person.
I love that. Agnieszka, bringing the heat right here on Top Step TV. Loving this session. If you don't mind, I want to do a quick market recap. Let you get a drink of
Oh
water if
no,
you
of
need it. But
course, of course.
quick market recap. All right, last trade in
Sure.
the Nasdaq. We did see the market bottom out around 21,641, up about 70 points from there. Last trade 21,715. Take a look at the ES. ES showing some weakness, about 4 points off the lows there. 6,013 last trade in the ES. Dow, boy, oh boy, Dow is finding no bid whatsoever. Dow is about 60 points off of the lows there. Last trade 42,925. So let's
Wow.
keep an eye going into the close. We've got about 4 minutes till MOC, so everyone be ready for that. Anyways, if you don't mind, please continue. This is absolutely fascinating. The webinar, you said the webinar is going to be on the 8th and another one
Yes,
on the
on
11th, correct?
Wednesday the 8th. Yes, and
Yes.
then because this week also my group program opens the door for enrollment, and I do only 3 times a year, and I accept only 12 people into my program. So I
Wow.
can work with them really very closely. So this is the Rise Up of the Profitable Trader, and the Winter Accelerator starts January 14th. So on a Saturday, I have the open house, and I have here another QR code
Okay.
for that one. So you can sign up, it's completely free, and you will learn how this program works, how we would work together if you decide to join and need to qualify.
Hmm.
And yeah, you can start setting, your first step towards profitability. Again, it's consistent profit in 12 weeks, basically. And my last group finished in November, and it was absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to start again because it's a very, should I say, such a committed group of people. And, it's a really nice group because it's just 12 people. So I have a lot of personal attention where I can give a lot of accountability, but also personal coaching to everyone. So really a lot of fun and a
And
lot
in
of
these
good results along the way.
sessions, does it get uncomfortable for some traders? Does it get uncomfortable having to look internally? Does it get emotional? Do our emotions released? Just in terms of the experience, how do your traders
Yeah.
experience something like
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. Um, well, it's a very good question because it tells me that for some people, I mean, yes, for some people, release of emotion is uncomfortable. But
Very
you have
much.
to tell me what is more comfortable, holding and fighting with the emotion, or finally releasing the emotion and be done with it.
There's a lot there. Yeah, I mean, in the near term, I guess keeping it in, but in the long term, releasing it. Correct? I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because you see but that's the thing. Emotions is energy in motion. Emotion is something that is passing, and that's what happens during trading. You are being triggered, the emotion comes in and it creates something in your
Yeah.
body, and
No.
then most people think I have to do something with it. Oh, it doesn't feel good. Let me suppress it, you know, and then you
Yeah.
keep it. And, and then you keep doing that over and over again, and then finally it explodes because you cannot suppress energy without it to explode at some point. So all these overreactions is suppressed energy. So I teach you how to regulate those emotions that when it comes up, first of all, I show you how to recognize when you're getting triggered. What is
Mhm.
exactly triggering you so that you can be ahead of it, so that it doesn't get out of hand. But then when you're already getting triggered, like how to regulate this so that you can be still in charge.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, great. Wow. Yeah. And one more question. Do you find it's mostly males are one only that mostly suppress their emotions and energy?
Um, I would say no. Look at
Really?
me. Look at
Really?
me. I was the one suppressing my emotions. But
Wow.
because this is what we all have learned. And I know that, and it's funny that you asked it because um, women are actually proven to be better in trading than men. And
Yes.
they are in general known as more emotional beings. So there
Mhm.
is this misconception that being emotional is wrong or bad, and that you should suppress emotion. But actually, being an emotional being, a human, makes you
Sure.
human, because humans have emotions. And if you know how to use your emotions, they are there to protect you. So when you are trading, you should not be suppressing your emotions, pushing them away. They are warning you a lot of times about something. And if you learn to listen, you can use them. So I teach people how to use their emotions so that it's part of you, it's part of your toolkit, your emotions. It's not something that you should get rid of. So when people say, yeah, I want to be unemotional trade like a computer, I'm like, you are just throwing away a huge help. This is part of your big potential you have and you can use. Don't do that.
Incredible. Excellent stuff.
But the
Okay,
thing
yes,
is
sir,
how to
we got about 9
control it
minutes.
in. Okay.
Exactly. Well, hold on. We have 9 minutes left. MOC just came out real quick. Plus 920 million buy side S&Ps, plus 715 million buy side Nasdaq, plus 280 million buy side Dow. Quick math about almost 2 billion buy side in the equities. We're seeing a bid coming in here. Market is up about 20 25 points after that MOC came out. Go ahead and yes, we got about 8 minutes left. This has been fantastic. We have your links posted in the chat. Of course, we got the QR codes for the webinars coming up. So, quick recap, please.
Awesome. So I just want to leave you with one thing. Remember that your trading edge is both your strategy and consistent execution. You cannot disconnect it. You cannot say, I will do first one and then the second one, maybe when I'm consistent. It's not going to work. So your success is about progress and not perfection. So at least start, make the first step. Whatever that step is for you, start working on your consistent execution, whether it is to learn mindset skills, whether it is to learn emotional regulation, whether it is to, when you start aligning your strategy, start doing something in the right direction and not just simply repeating what you have been doing that's not working. And it really begins with that decision to change, that decision to change. And I know it might be uncomfortable because nobody likes changes, but just imagine where you want to be. It's going to be a big change. You actually want that change. So you have to do something different that might feel uncomfortable to get there.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is like, if you want to connect with me, I have a podcast, Confidence in Trading, on most platforms. You can find me there and connect with me on Twitter, a head coach, and Instagram, a head coach. And my website is aheadcoach.com. And you can always send me an email if you have a question. And I really hope to see you at one of the webinars or maybe even both.
Yes, Dziękuję bardzo much. And Yeska, thank you so
Ah,
much.
that's awesome.
Really quick, if you don't mind, we have a couple questions from the audience, if you
Absolutely.
don't mind. Yes. This
No,
one I
no, go
found
ahead.
particularly interesting. Do people have certain brain types or wiring that would make it impossible to be a successful trader?
So everyone has a wiring, right? This is what we call neuroplasticity, and the wiring is the habits are wired into our brain.
Mhm.
So the concept of neuroplasticity is scientifically proven.
Okay.
Everyone can rewire the brain. So it is not wired for a certain type of job. It is wired for habits. So if you want to change your habits, you need to rewire your brain by introducing your new habits and by consistently repeating it. This is how you create new neural connections in your brain, and then the other ones become dormant. This is a matter of where you focus on, where you put your attention, and how you start refocusing your mind. That's like the quickest answer to it, and I hope that helps. I have never heard of something that someone is not wired in their brain for trading or not. That might be just sort of an excuse
Got you.
for
Okay, so yes, so it is possible. And in terms of building habits, do you have? Is there a time? I've always heard, 10 days, 30 days. You turn it in from a fluke to a habit, like a timeline in terms of you want to break a habit and create a new one. Is there a
yeah.
timeline for something like that? If you're consistent with the practice of changing.
Yes, it depends really how often you practice. So the more you practice, the quicker you will get into habit. And I would say with the consistent practice, you can start seeing a result in 2 weeks already.
Weeks.
And it's already a matter of focus because every habit starts with your thoughts. And the doing, if you start introducing new habits just from the perspective of doing, that's that's like treating the symptom. Everything that we do is directed by our beliefs, by our thoughts, and how we speak to ourselves, how we talk ourselves into and out of things. So when you can create those mental habits to start with, the awareness of how you talk to yourself, and then the way to speak to yourself, the way that about the certain habits you want to implement, this is going to speed up the process significantly.
Amazing, amazing stuff. All right, one last question. We got about 4 minutes left, and this one I think applies to a lot of traders, new and experienced and veteran traders. Overcome tilting when you go on tilt. We talk about the emotional. You get mad, you take a couple losers, you say screw it. I'm gonna go down to my DLL.
Yeah.
Dealing with going on tilt as a trader, it's something that we all deal with and we all, I guess, fight in some form or fashion.
Yeah, I think this is a really very good question because when you are dealing with something, it's already too late. What I like to do is to
Hmm.
be ahead of those things. So before you actually get there, you have a lot of things you can do to stop it. Just like when if you don't want to have a car accident, maybe don't drink in excess before you start driving, right?
It's good
So
advice.
there is a lot of things that come before you go on tilt. And
Mhm.
with mental skills, with mindset skills, you can get yourself to the point where you actually recognize it before you get on tilt and choose a different direction. It's a little bit like the domino effect. When you are already on tilt, that's, the first domino fell and now you're just reacting. A lot of times it's the nervous system that is getting you into survival response, and there's a lot of chemicals coming into play. So, yes, now you are dealing and you sort of like playing out that scenario. That's why it
Mhm.
repeats all the time, pretty much the
Okay.
same way. Um, so I would say stop dealing and start preventing. That will sound like a doctor, but
I like it. Mhm.
like it's a lot in trading. It's so much about prevention, preventing like risk management. This is also part of your risk management, preventing those scenarios to happen before they happen. And that is much easier to do because you are not in that emotional state. So, if you think you're a non emotional being, speaking of tilt, that's
Mhm.
like all kinds of emotions coming there. And that's
Yes,
also where, I have a lot of emotions that I am suppressing because that's what tilt is. It's an
yeah,
explosion of emotions
it is.
that
It
you
is.
cannot control.
And one question, I guess, a little personal for you. When you were a new trader, I know about the $1,200, the lucky trade you put on. When you were a new trader, what was your biggest weakness that you had to overcome personally or internally? When you looked up to the mirror, Agnieszka, what did you see as a
Yeah.
new trader?
A lot. I have to say a lot, but one of the biggest thing was my survival instinct and being perfectionist. And actually, it's a very personal question, so I'll give you a personal answer.
Thank you.
I have grew up in a lot of fear and distress, and developed a very strong survival instinct.
Mhm.
Um, and that came to, throughout my life. Survival instinct in general gave me a lot of good things because I would always, work hard and go for it, and no obstacle was too big for me. In trading, that survival instinct was triggered so much that I would constantly fight the market. Constantly. I
Mhm.
would constantly go against the trend. So recognizing it, that first of all, that I had this survival mechanism, that I was, looking back on my life and was like, oh my God, I have
Mhm.
put myself into so much risk throughout my life, and talk myself into it, and even was proud of it. Now in trading, it showed me how much it was hurting me, not just in trading, but even before. And
Yes.
that's what was one of the really big thing. And yeah, the perfectionist part was, trying to be loved as a child, not trying to get that attention from my parents,
Huh.
and getting the self-worth. um, that was another thing that came very strongly for me, that being perfectionist whoops, hey, there we go,
No,
preventing me
it's okay.
from not accepting mistakes. I could not be wrong, because that would mean nobody would love me, I would be rejected. And on a regular basis, I would, like, after losing day, I would go to my husband and say, do you still love me? And that really
Oh,
hit me hard. When I did that, I was like, why am I even asking that? So that was
right.
another thing. There were two really major things. There was, a lot of different things, but that were really the things that were very personal for me. Yes.
Thank you for
Thank you
being
for
so open and
asking.
honest. Transparency is number one here at Top Step. And Agnieszka, thank you so much. Headcoach.com. Go check out the webinars. We are going to isolate this and play
Amazing.
it again and again and again. How do you think that went, Agnieszka?
Amazing.
Because we had a blast doing it. Did you like that? Was it fun?
Me too. I love that. Thank you so much for
Excellent.
having me. This is fantastic. That's what I love
Excellent.
doing. So thank
Excellent,
you.
excellent. We will isolate this, play it again and again and again. Everyone, yes, we would. Thank you so much. And with that being said, shout out to all the Bell to Bellers. Crazy close there. We saw the big pop on the MOC. And without further ado, I'm going to throw it to my main man, James. James, take us out of here. Thank you so much, Agnieszka. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you both so much. And Andre, like Andre said, we're going to post that online if you missed even a second of it. Hope you were all taking notes. Lots of great information there. Just lots of great trading mindset to take into the new year. Talking about going into the new year, here's what we got in the docket for tomorrow. Fast markets. We got Andre, MP, Hogue, Coach Dakota, Nick for a tick, and a drop in by Coach Hoop. Morning recap with Hogue. At 11:15, we have our newer segment, the VIP Lounge, where we're going to have on Mandy F from Coach Hoop's VIP team, and they'll be joined by Coach Hoop, Andre, and Dolby. After that, we got Shoulder Tap, Hogue and Mick, Lunchbox Trading, JD and Hogue. Coming back later in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, Power Players, JD, Dolby, and Franklin O. Then we have the afternoon recap with Hogue, and of course, Power Hour with Andre, Dolby, a special appearance by Alex Ferreira and KV. So don't miss that Power Hour tomorrow. It should be really cool. We're going to catch up with Alex about his trading and his skiing. And we're going to talk to KV about what he's been up to since we last had him on. So that's tomorrow. Today is now. And right now, you should be doing one of two things. You should be either logging off for the evening, or you should be tuning into At the Buzzer. Why not both? That's right. Stick around. At the Buzzer with Coach Jay is coming up right now at 3:15 p.m. Central. After that, we got Slow Markets with Coach Dakota. And of course, London Open with Deanna tomorrow morning at 3:30 a.m. Central. So, after you watch At the Buzzer, go take a couple walk around the block, cool off, have a good time, and we'll see you bright and early, 8 a.m. here tomorrow. As always, you're the chat. I'm James Harden. Have a great rest of your night.
I've never felt so good in my life. I'm on an absolute